Hello friends, welcome back to Laravel 9 tutorial. In this video we are going to discuss about how session working in Laravel, right? So using Laravel we can create HTTP driven application, means when we enter some request from URL, that time a request is getting from Laravel site and actually this will respond as an output, right? So here how session is working. Session provides a way to store information about the users across multiple requests, right? So now just check. If you just go to the Visual Studio Code, this is my Laravel application, and if you just go inside the config section, and inside the config we have a session.php, right? So where is session.php? Yes, this one, session.php. So basically session.php is the configuration file, and using session.php we can configure, means here we are basically storing the session driver as a file. So what is that? So if I set session driver as a file, then all the session data information will store inside the storage and inside the framework and sessions, right? So basically this is the session information. It will automatically create the session information when we set the driver as a file. So actually if you check, you can see also. So here we can see the files path, that is a storage path, framework, session. So this is a storage, framework, sessions, right? So if you want to change any defined path, we can set, right? By default session driver is file. Otherwise you can use a defined type of session driver like cookie, database, APC, memcached, redis. Okay, so these things, right? So if you just go to the documentation, so Laravel 9 sessions, let's see. I will show you how actually these things, and actually this is a good practice. Always use the documentation every time. So here we are using the file, that is storing, default storing is storage, framework, session. Otherwise you can use cookies, database. So if you just use cookies, that time session is stored in a secure encrypted cookie, or if you want you can set in a database, memcached, DynamoDB, array. There are lots of options, and also you can check there is a configuration path. So if you set your session driver is the database, that time you can see these things. So if you just want to use database, so you can create like this, and there will have a table inside your database, that is the sessions table, and this is the attributes, or you can say this is the columns of that table. You can modify your choice also, right? So this is the things, so you can use that also, so no problem on that. Now if I just going to show you how session is working, so how to add some data into the session, how to delete, how to fetch some data, right? So how can I show this? So for now I will just going to create a controller, and from that controller I will basically want to show you the demo how the session things are working, right? So this is my application and this is my terminal. So let's create a controller. Suppose my controller name is session controller. Let's clear this first and create a controller, php artisan make controller. So this is the common command. So to create any controller we can write this, and session controller. So this is my controller name, and with the enter the controller created successfully. So if you just go inside the directory, so just go inside the app http controllers, you will get the session controller. Okay, so this is the session controller. So just create a function. Suppose I want to get some sessions, so simply write public function function function. Suppose let's write a get session, and we'll get the session from the request. So simply just use this request. So here we are using the request, so just use request $request. So this is my alias name. So with this request actually we will get all the things from inside the functions, right? Now I just going to check a session is already exist or not. Suppose if I going to check, how we can check this? So we need to use the request, and then we will use the session. There is a function, and if I want to check any sessions is already exist or not, that time we need to use the hash. Okay, so it will check. So I just going to check, is there any session with the name topic? My session variable name is topic, right? So I am checking, is there any session is there any session named topic is present or not? So if present, then I can print this. So simply write request and session, and this time we will use, instead of hash is for checking, we will use the get to get the output from the session and name the session variable name, that is topic. Alright, else if there is no session like topic, then we can write echo session not exist. Okay, so let's go to the routes and let's see how it's working. So just go to the route section. So this is my route, and just go to the web.php. So first of all, we need to register these things, the routes. So let's enter some, because we already created the things for any previous tutorial. So just to register the session controller here, so simply write session controller. So that means using session controller we can access this get session functions. Okay, so let's create a URL, that is route get, and simply write the path, suppose like get session session, and simply write the controller name. So here is my controller name is session controller class, and name of the methods to call, that is the get session functions. Okay, now just go to this link and let's see what is appearing. Okay, so now just go here and let's enter. We are not getting anything because server is not started, so simply write php artisan server. Okay, server is running. Now let's refresh, session not exist, and that should be because we have not created any session which name is topic. Okay, so let's create a session variable and let's store some data into that variable, right? So we already have, I am using the topic, so we are just going to create a function, public function, and suppose store session. Okay, so this is the function to store the session. All right, session store session, and here simply the same way, just write request and $request. So all will get from the request. That the reason we are using these things. Okay, and to store session, simply we are using hash to get the session variable. Okay, so I am just writing here. So we need to remember some things, that is the first thing is hash using to get, used to check is there session exist or not, and the next function is get to get the session value, and now I am going to use the put. Okay, so this we need to remember, that's it, right? So put to store some data into session. Okay, great. Now we should use this put function to store some data. So simply just use the thing, that is we will use the put here. Okay, and just okay, put, and now here this is my session variable name, but we need to add some data. So here I just saying the topic is Laravel session. Okay, so this is the topic. Okay, so now if I just run this store session, then it will store the Laravel session into this topic session variable. Okay, so simply just echo session stored. Okay, and now just create another route and let's call these functions store session. So simply here write store session and just call this store session mentioned from here, and just go to this link and we can see this. Okay, so just go here and just use the store session. Actually not store session, this link we should call store session. Okay, and session stored. Now if I just go to get session, then we can get the value from get session, that is the Laravel session. So previously it was shown that session not exist. Now I stored some session using the store session method, and now if I just using the get session, we are getting the value from the session. Okay, that's great. Now we can understand we are getting access of this variable from anywhere from our application. Means we are setting the session from store session and we can access from get session. That means session variable is global variable. Okay, so we can access from anywhere from our application. Now session get is done, and session checking is done, and session storing is done. Now if I want to remove that session, so how are we going to do this? Okay, so simply create another function to remove public function, and suppose write delete session. Okay, so delete session is also easy, and we need to use one another methods, right? Another session methods. So here we just need to use the forget method. Okay, so simply forget. Okay, so it's used to delete some data, used to delete session. Okay, so it will forget the session data. Now just use these things and simply just copy this, so don't write multiple times. So I just adding these things, and instead of get we are just writing here the forget method, and there is the session variable name, and just write session deleted. Right, now just create another function, and create another route to delete session. So simply URL is delete session, and let's call this function, and let's write here and just go to this link and let's see what happened. So just write delete session, so session deleted. Now if I just go to the get session, again it will show session not exist. Now if I just go to the store session, so simply write a store session again, so session stored. Now if I just go to get, that time we are getting Laravel session, right? So it is very easy. So you need to just understand, or you need to just to remember that 4 things. To check any session we need to use hash, to get any session variable we need to use the get, to store use put, and to delete forget. Just 4 things and you can be the master of all sessions, right? So this is all about the session variable, and still if you have any queries about this video, please comment in the below comment section. Next day we are going to discuss about another interesting topic. Suppose if I just click on this link, so this is the wrong URL which is not present in my application, that time it's showing 404 not found. Now if I want a nice 404 page, or if I want to configure our 404 page or customized our this 404 page, that time how we can do this. So we'll discuss about that things in our upcoming video. So please like and subscribe this channel for upcoming video. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. Bye.